G'day guys. Okay, we finally have a release window for The Witcher 4. Looks like we're waiting a while though. CD Projekt Red is officially targeting 2028, and honestly, I'm completely fine with that. I really just want them to take as much time as they need and actually get this game right. But there's something else we need to talk about because this game is already sparking massive arguments everywhere. We've got the Ciri controversy, debates around DEI, accusations about feminism, being pushed into the story, and people saying she shouldn't even be a Witcher. Some YouTubers calling the game woke before we've even seen actual gameplay, and others are saying anyone criticizing Ciri is just sexist. I kind of feel like a lot of this discourse is just missing the point. I love CD Projekt Red, The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 are some of my favorite RPGs ever, but despite all the noise, I just really want this to be good. Let's look at the release window first. CD Projekt Red is targeting 2028 is a big deal, because it's the first time they've put an actual year on it, and it sounds massive. They reportedly have over 500 developers working on it, and co-CEO Michael Nowakowski called it their biggest, boldest, and most ambitious game yet, which is pretty wild thing to hear from the studio that made The Witcher 3. I'm actually relieved they're taking their time. We all remember the Cyberpunk launch, they really can't afford to repeat that, especially with the insane expectations attached to the Witcher name. People revere the third game, so the pressure to deliver is absolutely massive. I know a lot of people are worried right now, and I completely get it, but I can't quite bring myself to write them off. They've proven that they can make incredible worlds, and they really did turn Cyberpunk 2077 around in the end. Look at what we actually know so far. Ciri taking the lead, a whole new saga, a new region, being built in Unreal Engine 5, it all sounds really solid. CDPR has also mentioned leaning harder into player choice and reactivity. I love that. My favourite memories from the last game were just stumbling into some messed up village drama where every choice felt bad. I just really hope they can capture that feeling again without making it feel forced. Okay, let's get into the Ciri stuff. I completely get why some people are bummed about losing Geralt as the protagonist. We spent hundreds of hours with him, shaping his story. Being disappointed he's gone doesn't automatically mean you hate women. It's just a huge shift for the franchise. But the discussions about whether she even fits the lore as a Witcher are actually pretty interesting. The mutation process is notoriously brutal and traditionally just for boys, so I'm really curious to see how CDPR explains her official transition into that role. If they actually ground it in the lore, I'm fully on board. If they just gloss over it, that's gonna be a bit frustrating. Then there's the interview with narrative director Philip Weber. He talked about how The Witcher has always dealt with difficult subjects like racism and discrimination, and mentioned that Ciri being a female Witcher creates an unusual dynamic they can explore in the game. Naturally, the internet kind of lost its mind over this. Half the people thought it sounded like classic Witcher world building, and the other half assumed it meant the game was going to be a feminist lecture. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. The Witcher has always had political and social themes woven into it. Class struggles, religious extremism, the treatment of non-humans, it's all been there from the start. So assuming this new game is going to deal with heavy themes, which it obviously will, I just hope the execution lands. Writing is everything here. The discourse around this is just exhausting lately. Assuming the game is terrible just because Ciri is the lead is silly, but acting like any criticism of the direction is just bigotry is also crazy. It's okay to be skeptical. I mean, people were literally debating over screenshots of her face, doing frame by frame comparisons to analyze if she was attractive enough. It feels like such a waste of energy. Honestly, I just care about her arc. If she has actual depth, a great personality, and the choices feel weighty, that's what's going to keep me playing. Even major creators getting pulled into this. Asmongold talked about the series' reaction, and he actually had a pretty nuanced take, exploring whether she could carry the narrative weight on her own and if people should give her a chance, which makes sense, since she's been a massive part of the lore since the books, and you could literally get an ending in Witcher 3 where she becomes one. They didn't just invent this concept yesterday, but then you have channels like The Critical Drinker being way more critical of the direction, and tons of videos claiming CDPR's DEI agenda is gonna ruin the franchise. There's definitely valid criticisms in the mix, but I also feel like a lot of these predictions are jumping to conclusions based on almost zero actual gameplay. That brings us to the actual diversity policies at CD Projekt Red. They've publicly had a diversity policy since 2018, aiming to prevent discrimination in their workplace culture, but recently their public support for inclusion sparked criticism from people like Mark Kern, who argued it could be a warning sign for the game's writing. People are out here speculating about Ciri's sexuality and how much modern politics will bleed into the story, but I think we need to hold off on panicking. A company having a diversity statement isn't hard proof that the script will be bad, just like being wary of corporate DEI programs doesn't make someone a bigot. We just have to separate what CDPR is actually saying from what people are assuming they're gonna do. We just don't know yet. My main worry really just boils down to the writing feeling natural. The Witcher 3 was so good because it dropped you into awful situations, showed you different perspectives, and basically let you make up your own mind without telling you how to feel. If Ciri deals with sexism in the world, that fits perfectly. If characters disagree and clash over it, great. I just hope the game doesn't pause to spoon feed us a lesson. If it flows with the world building, it'll be fine. CDPR is in a weird spot right now. They're not the same studio they were in 2015. They've gone through massive internal changes, especially after the Cyberpunk fallout. They really have to prove they can launch a massive RPG smoothly, that Unreal Engine 5 is the right choice, and that they can actually deliver an experience worthy of the Witcher name. They have a lot of trust to earn back. So yeah, let them take until 2028. Let them figure out their new Unreal Engine technology, polish the quests, and actually finish the game before pushing it out. I'd much rather wait a few more years and get an absolute masterpiece than watch another messy launch unfold like it did in 2020. They're asking for patience, and I'm honestly fine giving it to them. I definitely understand the hesitation, the worries about CDPR's track record, the writing, the shift in protagonists. It's all valid to talk about. We don't have to blindly trust them just because we like the game they made a decade ago. But we also haven't seen anything yet. Maybe it'll be amazing, maybe it'll suck, but I remember how magical my first playthrough of The Witcher 3 was, and how blown away I was by the end of Blood and Wine. I want them to hit that high again. I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll critique it if it looks bad, but for now, whatever the discourse is, I'm just desperately hoping it ends up being a great experience. What do you guys think? Are you still excited for it? Do you think Ciri is the right call? Let me know down in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for giving me the time of day. I genuinely do appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.